New Kings of the Mountain are crowned. The washup from Ford's parity woes. Australia's Oscar Piastri has his best F1 round yet, and serious concerns for drivers' safety at the Qatar Grand Prix. Let's get into it. At Mount Panorama, more than 204,000 people attended the 60th anniversary of the Bathurst 1000. That's the third largest attendance in the event's history. Red Bull Ampol Racing's Shane van Gisbergen went back-to-back, sensationally winning his third Bathurst 1000 alongside fellow Kiwi Richie Stanaway. Van Gisbergen now joins Dick Johnson as a three-time Bathurst winner. An emotional Van Gisbergen said he will miss Bathurst when he moves to America next year, but insists he will be back to race around the mountain again in the future. Pole sitter Brodie Kostecki was second with Erebus co-driver David Russell, and Ford celebrated third place with Shell V Power's Anton De Pasquale and Tony D'Alberto. It was a heartbreaking finish for 20-year-old Brock Feeney, who was running second with only 25 laps to go when an issue with his gear shift mount ruined his hopes of a podium. The same issue wreaked havoc earlier in the race for Craig Lowndes in the Super Cheap Auto wildcard entry. However, the weekend had a controversial start. A petition by Ford teams to modify the aerodynamics of their cars to be more competitive with the Chevrolet teams was sensationally knocked back due to the parity trigger having not been reached. On Thursday, Ford teams issued a joint statement labelling the decision not to improve parity as unacceptable. Speed Cafe can reveal the Ford Mustangs could now receive those aerodynamic changes they were seeking after the parity trigger was reached during Sunday's race. It does not guarantee changes will be made, but it does mean a review on parity will be held. Over the weekend, Speed Cafe supported a number of drivers across the support categories, including Nash Morris, David Russell, Liam Talbot, Ashley Jarvis, Jimmy Vernon and Ryan Kasher. First up in the Super 2 series, where the wins were split between Aaron Love and Kai Allen. Nash Morris struggled without power steering, finishing outside the top 10 on Friday and suffered a DNF on Saturday. In the Painter Dixon Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, pro driver David Russell had a mixed bag over the weekend. On Friday, the Earl Bamber Motorsport driver finished 7th after starting 9th. He was 4th on Saturday, however finished Sunday in 14th after being promoted one spot due to a penalty. However, it was guest British driver Harry King who dominated the weekend, taking a clean sweep of victories. Series returnee Harry Jones was second ahead of Chris Vanderdrift, filling in for series leader Callum Hetch, who was competing in the US. Continuing his impressive recent record at Mount Panorama, Pro-Am driver Liam Talbot took the round victory with commanding wins in all three races across Friday, Saturday and Sunday. In the Toyota Gazoo Racing Australia 86 Series, Ryan Kasher won 2 out of the 3 races at Mount Panorama to win the overall series for the year. He took home $50,000 for the overall win, saying the sacrifices and cost commitment he's made was all worth it. Series runner-up Cody Bircher won Sunday's final race in a spectacular final lap battle with Kasher. In the V8 Super Ute Series, Aaron Borg and Ryle Harris left Bathurst with 2 wins each. Speed Cafe supported driver Jimmy came away from the round 4th overall. He said his team are fighting back from the round at Sydney Motorsport Park and are building up for the Gold Coast round. And in the sports sedan, Steve Tomasi took race 1 while Tony Ricciardello won race 2 and 3. Ashley Jarvis finished 3rd, 4th and 6th across the weekend. To Formula 1 in Qatar, where Australia's Oscar Piastri scored his best Grand Prix result despite a chaotic weekend. The 22-year-old claimed his first F1 win in Saturday's sprint race, followed by Max Verstappen. It saw the Dutchman win the Formula 1 Drivers' Championship for a 3rd year. In Sunday's race, Max Verstappen led the way to victory, followed by Oscar Piastri in 2nd and McLaren teammate Lando Norris in 3rd. Teams were forced to only use their tyres for a maximum of 18 laps, after Pirelli data found their tyres were separating in the sidewall between the topping compound and the carcass cords during Saturday's sprint. Lewis Hamilton was also fined €50,000, half suspended for the remainder of the season, for walking across the track during the race after he crashed out on the first lap. He later apologised to race stewards. But the big story of the weekend was the extreme heat in Qatar, with a number of drivers struggling with heat exhaustion to the point of vomiting in their helmets. Logan Sargent was forced to retire after 40 laps, suffering severe dehydration. Esteban Ocon admitted to throwing up on laps 15 and 16. Lance Stroll exited his car and walked straight to the ambulance at the end of the race, and George Russell admitted to feeling so sick he asked his engineer to talk to him on his radio to take his mind off it. Drivers are calling for the race to be rescheduled to a cooler time of year in future. The NASCAR Cup Series raced in Charlotte, where AJ Allmendinger won after taking the lead on lap 77. Kyle Busch finished third, eliminating him from the playoffs. Also eliminated from the playoffs were Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski and Ross Chastain. Looking ahead to next weekend, NASCAR will race in Las Vegas, MotoGP will head to Indonesia, and the Australian Rally Championships will contest the Adelaide Hills.